Hello and welcome everybody to Getting Started with Dynamics 365 Field Service. I am Shawn Tabor, Business Applications MVP and Lead Architect for Field Service for Hitachi Solutions. A little bit about me. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm CRM Hobbit. You might have seen me out there tweeting about field service related topics. I also have a blog at crmhobbit.com. And I'm also the co-host of the CRM Audio podcast with Joel Lindstrom and George Dubinsky. I also have a field service YouTube channel as well. So what are we going to talk about today? We just had our introduction. We're going to talk a little bit about field service and my own personal journey. We're going to go into what is field service all about. Then we're going to talk about the field service capabilities within Dynamics 365. And then I'm going to do a demo on scheduling a work order. And then we're going to see that same demo from a technician's view from a mobile device. Then we'll talk a little bit about connected field service and how it can benefit your organization. Remote assist and how it can enable technicians to take care of issues first time with assistance from an expert at the home office. And then open it up for any questions if needed. So let's dig in. So what do you think of when you first hear field service? I've asked this of several people, and it's different based on your particular perspective. Does it mean an air conditioner repairman? Someone that comes out to paint your house? Someone installs a window, computer techs that come out and take care of computers for you, or maybe you go out to a local provider, home healthcare aides, a pizza delivery person. And yes, I've even had someone say, isn't it someone that you hire to mow a large tract of land? That's a type of field service, not the type we're going to talk about today. So recently, we did a lot of home renovations at our house. And as each contractor came in to do their piece, whether it was preventive maintenance on the AC, painting the house, installing a new front door, putting up a new fence, etc., I found myself really interested in what their process was in managing the work that they were assigned to do at my house. Because for all intents and purposes, that is field service. Each one of these contractors were dispatched to my house as a resource to fulfill work at my location. And what I found is the different contractors had different processes. Some were still on paper, some were on electronic devices, but had differing capabilities on each device. And at the end of each transaction, I always asked to see how they were documenting the work they did at my home. At the end, when they were done showing me how they documented that, I would always open up Field Service Mobile and show them what capabilities we have with Dynamics 365. And to a man, they were all impressed and wished that they had something like Dynamics 365 Field Service. So what is field service management? Well, really, field service management refers to getting resources for a specific service organization out to the property or site location of their customers to perform some type of service. Now, when I'm saying their customers, it doesn't necessarily have to be one company to a individual customer or group. Oftentimes with implementations that I've done, they could be internal customers where they're sending technicians to repair assets that they own. But regardless, it's essentially centered around the resource or the technician or the remote worker and what it takes to enable that technician with the information that they need and the instruction and direction to navigate to the customer's location and provide that service, whether it's repair, installation, what have you. And as a leader in field service management, Microsoft was recently acknowledged as such in the recent Gartner Magic Quadrant, June 2020. Very exciting stuff. So with field service management in Dynamics 365, we have a lot of capability at our hands. Whether it's the work order itself that documents the information and work to be done, the case from customer service that could initiate that work, agreements for service contracts, scheduling and dispatching, mobility, enablement of customer portals and live technician tracking, or even reporting through Power BI. All of that is built on a solid infrastructure through the Common Data Service. With Dynamics 365 Field Service, we can really manage demand in a number of ways. We can schedule the information and work to be done through the work order, which is the core object to show that work to be done by the technician or remote worker. The work order itself summarizes all the products and services involved, as well as any tasks that need to be achieved. Agreements, commonly referred to as service contracts in the implementations that I've managed, enables the automatic generation of work orders for events such as preventive maintenance or regularly scheduled inspections, for example. This could also be any other contracted services that the customer and the service organization agree upon in advance. Additionally, we can get some predictive demand coming from monitored devices at customer locations sending alerts through the Azure IoT Hub. Then that will indicate whether or not there's a need for a service action at that time. A core component of Dynamics 365 Field Service is universal resource scheduling. This really provides the engine under the covers to enable the ability to dispatch technicians to the customer locations needed. It gives us the ability to schedule and dispatch. Also, within Dynamics 365, intelligent scheduling optimization is achieved through a number of ways. We have the ability to approach scheduling dependent on your particular requirements. It can be done through just internal knowledge, where the dispatcher knows who to assign to a particular piece of work, or we could also allow the ability to have the system recommend the available resources based on calendar availability, skills, and characteristics which align with the work to be completed. Lastly, we can also provide the customers the ability to have fully automated model, which based on the customer defined scenarios and criteria, it can map out all the assignments at the beginning of each day for all the work to be accomplished in the most optimized manner possible. And this would be leveraging resource scheduling optimization. We can better enable technicians with mobility. Dynamics 365 Field Service Mobile enables technicians throughout the entire cycle. Whether it's scanning serialized product to identify a service history, using GPS to navigate to the customer location, or to allow customers to digitally sign for work completed. Additionally, on mobile, you can access critical data even when offline. Field Service Mobile has an intuitive UI consistent with the web user experience in the web app via unified interface. And I can tell you from a partner perspective, providing service to the companies I support, a single development path for both web and mobile allows my system customizers to work on the most critical capabilities to enhance that user experience for the customer. Another great tool is inspections. Now, this is due to be released in the October timeframe, but for me, it's a complete game changer. The capability provides broader capability to document important details for the field service technician when on the job site, as well as to comply with specific rules and regulations in a very structured manner. We'll be taking a look at this capability a little later when we demo the mobile app. We're also able to better engage our customers with Dynamics 365 Field Service through customer portals, empowering them to see the work that they have asked for, or even create that work order right there on the fly. They can see live technician tracking, much like you might have experienced when you order a pizza. You know, you want to see where your pizza's at. Well, in this case, you might want to see where your technician's at. We can also enable text notifications. So as the technician is en route, we can get a text notification to the customer to, again, keep that communication stream active and alive. As well as they can look at customer history. The technician has all the information on the customer that they need, whether it's to understand what has been done before or what potential could be done in the future. And then we can analyze and integrate the data. Through Power BI, we can get very powerful dashboards of information, whether it's from just work order history to IoT telemetry on devices. Analyzing and visualizing this data to make important business decisions for the service organization is critical. The Azure IoT data streams provide us a way to get to a predictive model to where we can plan and forecast parts and resource capabilities and availability in advance and make great decisions on how we're moving forward in our day. And lastly, ERP integration. Modeled through dual write, allowing to integrate with supply chain management, enables you to get real-time access to parts inventory and asset management, as well as the integration to other ERPs that are out there. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some scheduling. And in this scenario, we're going to take a look at a work order for a service organization who needs to perform an inspection on one of its belt assemblies for a food processing plant, who is their customer. We're going to show how that work order can be scheduled using a feature called QuickBook, as well as what information is presented to the dispatcher via the schedule board. So let's take a look at that now. Okay. So here we have a view of our unscheduled work orders. And if I wanted, as a dispatcher, if I wanted to schedule one of these work orders, I simply can select it, and you'll notice that I have an icon that pops up in the toolbar called Book. When I click Book, what's going to happen is that's going to enable my QuickBook feature. Well, it wouldn't be a demo if we didn't have a, there we go. It's going to enable my QuickBook feature, which is going to go out and look for what available resources I have that meet the criteria for the requirement of this particular work. I think I clicked a little too many times. And in this case, it found that there weren't any resources that met my criteria. So if that's the case, what I could do is I could pop out to either the schedule assistant, or I'll go back and I'll select the work order here. Sorry about that. Here we go. I'll hit the, I can see now here, it gives me where there's a resource available at various points throughout the day. If I wanted to see who that resource is, well, look at that, it's me, and I'm 144 minutes away, but I can be scheduled. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, scroll down, and hit Book. Once I do that, it will then schedule the work order, and you can see here now this has been successfully booked. It takes very short amount of time to get a booking completed, and as of right now, it's probably popping up on his mobile device right now that he was just assigned a new work order. But we can also take a look via the schedule board. The dispatcher has a number of different capabilities and pieces of information available to them on the schedule board. So you can see here, I have the same unscheduled work orders that you saw in the previous view, but I also have an ability to look at who is currently scheduled on a number of things. So as you can see, I have some scheduled items already out there today. And if I wanted to, I could also search for folks that I need that are certified, food safe certified, in a proficient model. So when I hit apply, I can see that my resource as an account engineer and Shawn Tabor are certified, food safe certified, and they're proficient in that rating. What you're going to see here on the schedule board are two scheduled items, one of which you can see by the legend is in progress state, and this work order here that's assigned to the account engineer has been scheduled but has not been started. You also have a number of different booking statuses that you can see through the color and icon combinations on the schedule board, providing a lot of really solid information to the dispatcher very easily. I can see that this is in progress and is a medium priority. Now, if I needed to reassign this work to another technician, I can come here and reassign, selecting an individual that I wanted to assign it to, and you can see that it's immediately reassigned. Additionally, if I wanted to assign an unscheduled work order to, let's say I want to assign that to Shawn, I can simply drag this up and pop it onto the schedule board. When I hover over that schedule board, you'll see information about the requirement itself. I can see when it's supposed to start and when it's supposed to end and its current booking status. If I wanted to make this change this status here, is it's proposed and soft, then it will be indicated as such. Okay. And the schedule board is completely customizable. You can add additional tabs for different groups. So for example, you can see here, I have some project work that I have, as well as just open requirements in general. And if I wanted to make this something more specific for my business, I could do that. Okay. So now that we have that scheduled, let's go back. Okay. So now we're going to take a look at the technician view on the mobile device. And to save some time, I went ahead and pre-recorded my screen from my mobile device. You can see this is my iPhone. And I'm going to go ahead and open the Field Service mobile app. And the first thing I'm going to see when it pops up on my screen is my bookings. Now, why would I be seeing bookings instead of the work order? Well, the booking is the item that's most important to the field service technician, gives them all their information. So a combination of information from the booking and work order are displayed on the screen on the mobile device. So you can see here, I can access information about my customer, where they're located, what work order assets I'm going to be working on today, as well as a map location of where they are. From here, I can get driving directions if I needed. Next, on the service tab, I can see what service tasks are required for me to complete. And in this case, I'm looking at a foreign materials contamination assessment. I'm capturing the details on the hygienic design of the conveyor belt sanitation and clean in place if needed. What you're looking at right now is field service inspections. So in this case, I'm completing an inspection of the belt, indicating that there was some improper tension in the belt. And I'm going to go ahead and take a picture using my camera. Now, I'm not actually at a factory, so I'm going to take a picture of my laptop here just to demonstrate the use of the camera. And then I can upload that image of the belt for future viewing. I also can indicate whether or not a root cause was identified and whether that root cause applies to all the other assets. From here, I can indicate my result, that there was partial success, and that completes my inspection. I'll save that. And then now that I've completed the inspection, I can look at see what other services or items I have here on my booking. And I'm going to go ahead and have the customer sign off on the work that I completed. And that's the experience from the mobile device. I wanted to talk a little bit about connected field service because, much like in the example I had in the top of the session, all our devices are connected everywhere. So to really get an idea of how connected field service really affects you directly, let's talk about some things that happen in your home today. Connected devices are everywhere, and we are definitely in a connected world. So from your smartwatch to your cable box to even your car now, there are alerts which can provide valuable data everywhere. In my case, I have a car that gives me alerts when I don't lock the door. So it's very similar to a monitored device for a customer. This is sending an alert to me to take some type of action. This is a similar way that connected field service works for our customers. An IoT trigger would trigger a work order via that alert. And then from that alert, from the field, a work order is created if the automated self-healing steps don't work, which is a capability. A technician is sent based on the work order. And now we know that we've already tried to remotely diagnose the problem, and the tech is dispatched only because the self-healing didn't work. So the technician has all the information that he or she needs to do the job based on the case history and customer info on their device. And then they can also, and the customer can also look at the technician arrival time and schedule. After the technician resolves the issue, all the relevant details are added and updated to the work order itself, ensuring a positive on-site experience. And this whole scenario is connected, seamless, efficient, and automated. It's a big key differentiator for Dynamics 365 for field service. And this is an example of a simple connected asset. Many devices, many units that you could purchase, whether it's a common household item, such as a dishwasher, have devices on them that could be monitored and are sending out signals. So once that product is sold to the customer and the installation is completed via a work order, through Dynamics 365 Field Service, work order products can be automatically converted into customer assets for documentation and understanding of what assets are assigned to that customer and what locations they're present at, so that we can look forward in the future in how we can service them better. Once that asset is created at the customer and connected to our IoT hub, data starts to transfer immediately. In a more complex scenario, you could have a device that has multiple monitoring points and has multiple situations where different areas of the device can send out different types of signals. Here's an even more complex asset with HVAC. So from here, you have 9 or 10 different points of alert, whether it's from an outside air duct to indicate some kind of blockage, to the fan motor to understand whether it's having an issue and even turning, to the chiller to understand if there's a lower level of refrigerant coming through the pipes which would reduce the amount of air flowing through the unit. So these are some common examples of how connected field service provides data to your organization to enable service actions quickly and effectively. And it's all on top of the connected field service IoT hub architecture, where data is streaming directly from the devices into the connected field service model-driven app and sent directly to field service dispatchers and technicians through the application. Using this information, the technicians are even more well informed about the particular issue. As we mentioned in the scenario before, remote issues and troubleshooting can be taken care of in advance, avoiding a dispatch. But in the event that that cannot be avoided, we have even more information about the issue for the technician. Remote assist has really come into its own as of late. It really allows the technician to solve problems in a collaborative way with an expert from the headquarters. You can document information within context of the actual experience of the repair, and you can have an expert walk you through certain procedures that you may either be unfamiliar with or need an expert hand. Remote assist can also reduce travel costs and increase uptime through that knowledge sharing and capability. Experts can choose to show their device's camera feed to the field service engineer, and often users will keep that window open with the expert throughout the call, whether it's on a HoloLens device or on a mobile app. It's very useful for displaying data to the field service engineer that's contextually important for that repair. With remote assist, you can walk that site without having even to be there. The advantage this gives to the customers is quite often organizations may not have enough experts to visit every single location every single time. This extends the capability of the expert to every customer location. The technician, being experienced as well, has the ability to perform repairs with ease given all the information that's available to them within Dynamics 365 Field Service. But with Remote Assist, I can bring that expert with me, showing them the situation at hand and getting information that could improve my ability to repair that first time, or even to take some time away from it to do it even more effectively. I can also record my session with Remote Assist to provide a valuable educational tool for additional resources in my organization to see real-time repair events as they happened. I can also bring in multiple experts to help me when I'm on site with great ease using Remote Assist and Microsoft Teams. We can also collaborate on the mobile app, and Remote Assist on mobile is a great way to begin the journey as a low-cost introduction to the benefits of Remote Assist. There's a number of different reasons why mobile works better. It's available to try right now on Android or iPhone, and I've used it myself. It's a very good experience, and I actually love working with the mobile app and Remote Assist. Low bandwidth mode is also available on mobile now, which is critically important to a lot of my customers. Often, these remote assist interactions happen in an area where they're doing a repair and bandwidth is not necessarily robust. So low bandwidth mode allows that connection to still be maintained and that remote assist experience to be captured. There's a few implementation scenarios for remote assist, such as with customer service. You could have a customer that just purchased a product and they're calling in to get some assistance. With Remote Assist in Teams, that customer can connect with a product expert who then proceeds to share files and draw and mark up to the screen to guide the customer to resolution, improving that first call to closure rate. For field service, a technician could be out on the job and they may encounter specialty equipment that they're not familiar with. Getting access to an expert allows them to efficiently take care of that specialty equipment that they may not have had experience for in a very effective manner. Also, field technicians can receive technical support from the experts at the home office or collaborate with other techs in the field who may have experienced a similar issue. You can see here the different apps that we have related to field service within your environment once you set up Dynamics 365 Field Service. In my particular environment, I have Connected Field Service, Field Service, Field Service Mobile, and Resource Scheduling Optimization. And as you can see, there's an enormous amount of feature capabilities within Dynamics 365 for field service, from scheduling and dispatching, connected field service, contract management, mixed reality, inventory management, and even mobile. So how much does it cost to get field service? Well, for field service by itself, if this is your first Dynamics 365 app, it's $95 per user per month, or for each additional app. So if you already have customer service, Dynamics 365 for customer service installed, then it's an additional add-on for $20 per user per month. Remote Assist is at $65 per user per month with an add-on if you already have another app, a qualifying app, $20 per user per month. But I always encourage you to contact your Microsoft representative or your partner to get the most up-to-date pricing for your particular contract. So in closing, why Dynamics 365 Field Service? You want to give your customers an accurate time and window of service. You want to be proactive about issues through connected field service to allow more uptime for your customers. You want to meet those customers where they are if you cannot resolve over the phone or email or a knowledge base article. You want to improve first time fix rate with the right knowledge, with the right person, in the right inventory on the site first time. And also, it's an easy to use and configure modern low code platform with connections to Dynamics 365, Microsoft 365, and Azure. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
All right, we don't have much questions here, Shawn.
Okay. Is there any area that anyone would like me to go back and cover just a little bit more, or is there any questions at all?
No, Shawn, they are pretty much good on it.
Okay. Well, excellent. Well, if there's no other questions, then I'll just wrap up and say it again. If you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you can reach me at CRM Hobbit. Check out my blog at crmhobbit.com. Subscribe to my podcast, CRM Audio, at crm.audio or wherever you get a podcast feed. And you can also check out my field service YouTube channel. And with that, I appreciate you attending, and I hope you have a fantastic day.